Sup, lunatics? I'm Moonspirit, and boy, 2019 has been quite the year. We witnessed the endgame, Joker kicking down the stairs, and of course, Sonic the Hedgehog's trailer. And his teeth. But I must admit, this year's lineup of video games has been quite outstanding, all things considered. We got plenty of remakes, sequels for long-awaited IPs, and fresh new games. And I'm here to talk about the ones I had the pleasure of putting my long hours in. So just like in my previous year in review videos, I'm here to talk about, not count down, the games of 2019 that I played. And if there's a game that I missed out on, chances are I didn't have the time nor funds to play them. So with all that out of the way, let's begin. I was intrigued by Remedy's next outing, but I wasn't sure if this game was going to knock it out of the park since their last game, Quantum Break, wasn't exactly the hit they were hoping for. But after hearing good things about Control, I caved in and I bought it. And I'm glad I did. This game's aesthetics will be the first thing you'll notice, but this game has Twin Peaks level narratives with Inception-like vibes. Plus the game's blocky yet brutal architecture is something to behold. But what matters if this game delivers as a functional shooter. And yes, it does and then some. You're not just a redhead with a supernatural gun, because she can use objects of power, giving her paranormal and supernatural powers like telekinesis, levitation, and so much more. This game is practically a third-person Metroidvania shooter, and I love it! Plus, James McCaffrey is in this game. You know, the voice of Max Payne. That's awesome! Control is a supernatural powerhouse. You've never played a shooter like this. But there is another shooter. So another Borderlands game is out and with nothing to talk about. I said nothing to talk about. I said nothing to talk. Okay, I get it. There are a lot of controversies surrounding the game, yes, but let's talk about the game and not Randy Pitchford and the like, okay? Borderlands is back and nothing has changed much gameplay-wise. You still get guns, and more guns, and it's glorious. And all the characters you play as are as distinctive in their own way, in playstyle, and even their dialogue is unique. What else is there to say? Well, the writing in this game is by far the weakest out of the series, I'm afraid. It's not as funny as the previous games, but it's hard to top too. The Calypso twins are annoying, but it's definitely on purpose because they sure remind me of some dudes I hate. But come on, no one can top Handsome Jack. Still, I would replay this just to try out a different character. Despite the game not being as funny as previous games, this game is an arsenal galore. Don't play this for the story, play it for the guns. Another fantastic pixel art indie title has entered the fray, and this is a hot one. The neo-noir aesthetics clashes real nice with the pixel art. The music though, it gets you in real nice. But be warned because this game is not a cakewalk. Far from it, but once you get the hang of its hack and slash action with Super Meat Boy like difficulty, you'll have a great time on this one. Plus the story is engaging right down to how you interact with those around you. From the orders you have to follow to the people you never really give much thought about. If you have some money on the side, get this game when you can. Katana Zero is a cut above the rest. Get this game just for the soundtrack alone. The first Rage game was a solid 7 out of 10 experience for me. The game had potential but wasted a good story and cast, and the ending was anticlimactic. But color me surprised when I first heard that Rage got a sequel. Did this game deliver? Oh hell yeah it did! After 5 to 6 hours in. Sure, the gunplay was tops and it was pretty to look at, but honestly, the guns they advertised were not as great as I hoped, like the gun that could burn raiders like s'mores. The progression system feels really grindy and not all that satisfying to fill out in the end. Plus, while there is much to do, it got from fun to tiring in no time. Plus, the game has some terrible technical issues like audio where it should be, game scripting events not going as intended, plus they made car combat feel like an afterthought. At least to me, because taking down convoys with my baby was not great, and the first did it a lot better. Gotta say, I was disappointed with how the game ended up as it did. Rage 2 is wasted potential. Well, at least I'll always have Andrew WK's E3 performance. Those crowds didn't deserve you, Andrew. Screw you, Konami! If you won't make another Castlevania game, then Koji Igarashi will on his own terms. And does he do it? Yes! But did he do it right? Yes! This is the Castlevania experience I always wanted. The whole game has a lot to explore, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Getting new abilities, both active and passive, are always fun to get. But by God, the game is so beautiful to behold, and the music is absolutely the best. But though, be warned, the Switch port is not exactly ideal to play on, especially because there were some technical issues with the game, though right now it's already fixed. Regardless, don't let that detract this game from being a solid experience. This is not to be slept on. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is gothic greatness. I do hope we get a sequel for this. Honestly, I love this game so much, I'm awarding this game as my Indie Game of the Year. Plus, David Hayter's in this game. That's a win in my book. I am a goose, and I'm on the loose. I'm 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 a goose, and I'm on the loose. Come on, that's all you need to know. Get this game. Next. Fallout 4 was an okay follow-up to 3, but need I say more about 76? It's a good thing that the studio behind Fallout New Vegas has given us a game that feels like a Fallout game, but it ain't, in the best way possible. The Outer Worlds takes away the Vault Boys and retro-futuristic wasteland of America, and puts us in a 1950s Buck Rogers-inspired futuristic world, where corporations rule the galaxies. But you'll eventually get a ragtag company of misfits on your space adventures, almost like your own Firefly adventure. Really, the companions you get make some great chemistry with each other, and you'll love their banters. You can be whoever and whatever you want to be, and it's great. Nothing feels new or fresh, but what it has to work with works wonderfully. Alliteration for the win. The Outer Worlds is an interstellar adventure. This might be my RPG of the year, but not my game of the year. Luigi's new foray against Poltergeist is here, even though this takes place in a hotel and not in a mansion, but semantics. All that matters is Luigi rocks at Poltergeist and is ready to do what he does best. Sucking in the best way possible. Shut up! Point is, busting ghosts in this game is still good, especially since you can slam them around like a Tex Avery cartoon. And Luigi brings in a new dynamic, whether you got a friend or not. And thankfully, it follows its first roots and is one continuous quest rather than being mission-based like in Dark Moon. Plus, the boss battles are all amazing, from finding a poltergeist pianist to a phantom rent-a-cop to a ghastly gardener. I love every second of it. My only complaint is that even though you get money, spending them on one-ups and finding collectibles are meh. Come on, you can think of better ways how you can spend money in this game. But you should spend your money to get this game. It looks great in glorious HD, and the animation is fantastic. Luigi's Mansion 3 is a ghastly galore. Busting with Luigi makes me feel good. No, wait, don't use that out of context! I believe this is appropriate. Your faith in microtransactions and multiplayer-only games is your weakness. Your faith in single-player games is your own. But the real question is, does Jedi Fallen Order deliver? Yes, it does. What do you get when you use Star Wars and add in Uncharted exploration with Dark Souls combat? You get the best Star Wars game in years. The less we talk about EA's recent Battlefront games, the better. This game is beautiful to look at. From the chaotic train prologue down to the windy villages, you can tell they did not skimp on the presentation. But combat, I haven't had this much fun playing a Jedi since Force Unleashed. Although you don't start out as an all-powerful Jedi, the progression this game has makes it all the better to feel like a true Jedi Knight. But don't get cocky, kids, because this game is hard, but not Dark Souls hard, unless you're going for the Jedi Master difficulty. Regardless, the Force is strong with this one. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is a force to be reckoned with. You see, EA? This is the way. Maybe now you'll realize the errors of your ways. Though I'm not holding my breath, but you better take notice of this. We have spoken. All hail to the OG of character action games, Devil May Cry. Thank you, Capcom, for giving us another DMC game and not starring the chemical romance reject you let out. Everything about this game screams poetry in motion, and is just awesome to play. Best part, you play not as one, not two, but three badass characters, and each are gratifying to play. Nero has his Devil Breaker arm prosthetics that let him grapple demons while he revs up his Red Queen to S-rank heaven. B summons a Shadow Panther and Crow to fight on his behalf, all the while rocking a cane like a pimp. But Dante is back being Dante with weapons galore. From his swords to wielding a freaking motorcycle as a weapon. Hell, he's even got this! If that alone doesn't do it for you, then you might as well be a zombie. Devil May Cry 5 has all we need. High-octane action, kick-ass characters, i.e. Nico's one bad babe. And the music is heavy metal goodness. Might as well say this game has me triggered. Devil triggered! And that's all I need. Seriously, what's next? Oh hey, what's going on with you? Resident Evil has returned, but not with a sequel, but a remake of a past game. Is this game just a beat for beat remake? Far from it, it's practically a new game in of itself. First off, this game is gorgeous to look at and flinch when the gore comes out, and the game changes the formula up enough to give off an old but new feel to it. All the monsters still are grotesque, disgusting, and absolutely menacing. And if Mr. X stomps in, run your ass out the door! And don't think headshots are easy ways to end zombies, for they are relentless. But don't worry, because this game is highly replayable, and I can't wait to do it all over again. Resident Evil 2 Remake is bloody remarkable. And you know what? I love this game so much, this is my 2019 Game of the Year. Seriously, are we going to get an RE3 remake? So those are the games that I have played. But here's some other games to note. Toe Jam and Earl, back in the groove. After a very successful Kickstarter that I, among others, helped, the funky alien duo is back. It's everything a Toe Jam and Earl should be, exploring the levels while avoiding annoying Earthlings, all the while using various gears and listening to a groovy soundtrack. And your adventures will vary since this is a roguelike, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Definitely play this if you got the time. Judgment. I still haven't played the Yakuza series to this day, and I really should, but curse this backlog I have! Still, Judgment will be the closest thing to getting my Yakuza cherry popped. After an hour or so, this game is just fantastic. The combat reminds you of Streets of Rage in the best way possible, and the detective work is intriguing. Plus, there's so much to do in Kamurocho. I'll definitely play this to its fullest whenever, which will eventually lead up to the Yakuza games. Days Gone. Honestly, I wasn't really sold on this game, and I'm not sure if I still am. After playing an hour of this game, I was not impressed. This felt like the diet Last of Us. It's very familiar overall, and I just couldn't get into it. I do, however, hear this game gets real good after you play it some more. If that's true, I might get back in this game, but we'll see. Indivisible. Now this is a game I completely forgotten about, especially since I also helped fund this game on Indiegogo. And honestly, I'm glad I did, because this game is amazing just to look at. After all, you can always expect high animation standards from the studio that brought us Skullgirls. Plus, the music is well crafted and it's a treat to play overall. Think Metroidvania-like platforming, but action turn-based combat. It's actually a great combination, and I definitely would recommend it. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. The third installment is finally here, but I found this one to be quite lacking, to be honest. Sure, it's great to see all the familiar heroes we've all seen before, thanks to the MCU movies, but it's only hollow if the game isn't fun. Unfortunately, it wasn't. I found the combat to be quite tedious and not very satisfying compared to the previous two games, and I never felt powerful. Plus, the game heavily relies on grinding your characters, and when you have 2 to 3 dozen heroes at your disposal, it's gonna feel like a chore. The game's fine, but I don't love it 3000. But like love it 6 out of 10. Wolfenstein Youngblood. Why does this game exist? This feels less like a sequel to the franchise and more of a Bethesda cash cow. It has the Wolfenstein veneer, but it's an RPG FPS and not in a good way. Why? Because this game made killing Nazis feel like busy work. Busy work! If you make killing Nazis boring, you know you messed up bad. Plus, the twins are just annoying and feel like they're out of their element. Bethesda, you are messing up badly. First with Fallout 76 and now this. You're losing your edge and faith in the gaming community. Death Stranding. This game is by far the most niche video game of all the games this year. Don't expect high-octane action unless you're really into true courier service simulation. But leave it to Hideo Kojima to give a world that is so complex yet so bizarre, but also very intriguing. However, you have to really be in this game for the long haul for it to be good. Trust me, you got to have patience for the game to really sink in. If you're not into literal slow crawls, this will not be for you. But this game is quite the experience. So there you have it. Those are the games of 2019 that I had the pleasure of playing. As you can tell, there are some games I missed out on, like Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. I'm not really into Dark Souls games, and this is one of them. Pokemon Sword and Shield. I haven't played Pokemon for over 15 years, but this one might actually get me out of retirement. Plus, Call of Duty, Gears of War 5, Mortal Kombat 11, and of course, Kingdom Hearts 3. I mean, I still haven't played the first 2 Kingdom Hearts games, so I missed out, I guess. Maybe not in the future? Regardless, I can't wait for this year's lineup of video games. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Watch Dogs Legion, Doom Eternal, The Last of Us Part 2, and of course, Cyberpunk 2077. I'm sure that game will be breathtaking. But that's all the time I have for y'all today, so be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it across the web. Would you kindly? Till then, I'm Moon Spirit saying good night, goodbye 2019, and good riddance, and here's to an excellent 2020 everybody.